Hi students, let us start a new chapter, light. What is light? Light helps us to see objects. We can say that light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy. Light is an electromagnetic wave. Light has different properties and it exhibits different phenomena. We will study it in the higher classes. Here in this standard, you have to study the basics of our light. Light is simply a form of energy. The presence of light helps us to see objects. When light ray from any source incident on an object, it gets deflected back into our eyes. It makes the object visible. It is the way of our vision. Okay. So when light ray from any source incident on an object, it gets reflected back into our eyes as the way of our vision. Okay, for study about light, let us take a mirror. It's a mirror and a torch. And a torch. It's a torch. And pass the light from this torch within this strip to hit on this mirror and get reflected back. Okay, so this strip helps to narrow the beam. The broadened structure of light is limited into a ray, a straight ray of light, and it passes through that strip and hit on this plain mirror. It's a mirror and it gets reflected back. It's a process of reflection of light. When it hit on a smooth surface, it is a reflection of light. It is the one of the property of light ray. When it hit on a smooth surface, it get reflected back. So in this observation, we have to study a lot of things. I drawn a normal into the mirror as a perpendicular. Okay, it's a normal. This line is normal to the mirror. This incident ray, this ray is called incident ray. When this incident ray hit on this object, it reflected back. This ray is called reflected ray. This ray is called reflected ray. And it is normal. In this experiment, we discussed about 3 lines. This line is incident ray, this is reflected ray, and this is normal. Okay, so there's a question, what is incident ray and reflected ray? The light ray which strikes any surface is called incident ray. This incident ray strikes on that object, so that is incident ray. And the light ray that comes back from the surface after reflection is known as reflected ray. The ray that comes back after reflection, it is reflected ray. And the normal is perpendicular to the mirror. Normal should be perpendicular to the mirror. Okay, let us draw once again. It's a mirror. And firstly, I drawing normal, which is perpendicular to the mirror, and it is incident ray, this reflected ray. Okay, normal, incident ray, reflected ray, this ray is called incident ray and then reflected back, and this is reflected ray. There is one more thing. This incident ray makes an angle between the normal, with the normal. This is called I, angle of incidence. What is it? Angle of incidence. It is called the angle of reflection. What is angle of incidence? angle of reflection and normal. The angle between the normal and incident ray is called the angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and the reflected ray is called the angle of reflection. And what is normal? Normal of a mirror is the line making 90 degree with the mirror. 90 degree to the mirror. This line is 90 degree. This line is 90 degree. It is called a normal. Okay. So it is incident ray and this it is incident angle. This reflected angle. We have to study the law of reflection. There is a law for the reflection process. We have to study. Okay. What is law of reflection? We discussed about the incident ray, incident angle, and reflected ray, reflected angle. The law of reflection says that the angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. First law says that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection, is known as law of reflection. We say that it is the first law of reflection. Okay, incident ray and reflected ray, incident angle, reflected angle. The law says that incident angle should be equal to the reflected angle. If this incident angle is 30 degree, then the reflected angle is always 30 degree. If it is 40 degree, if I is equal to 40 degree, then R should be equal to 40 degree. This is law of reflection. We can prove it by an experiment. Take a torch and a plain mirror from your home and conduct this experiment. Put a torch here, allow this light to hit on a mirror. It reflected back. Assume a normal and relate this angle and this angle. You should get equal angle in between the normal. If you increase this angle, then what happens? It is 60 degree or 70 degree. Then this ray also widened and it goes in this way. It should be equal to 70 degree. So when you change the angle, the reflected angle also changes. It always equal. Okay. Then what is second law? The incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence, and then reflected ray are laying in same plane. These three rays, incident ray, reflected ray, and this normal, should be laid in same plane. Here, in this figure, this line and this line is in a board, that is a plane. It is exists in a plane. That is law, and that is the second law. We cannot draw this incident ray here and the reflected ray in this way. Three-dimensionally we cannot draw it, and it is not possible. That is the second law